Hi everyone, this is just a quick little video that I wanted to do in response to all the very good feedback that I was getting after I did the FAQ video earlier in September. I asked a lot of questions, I gave a bit of information about myself, but then I also wanted answers respective to how to develop this channel, what videos you wanted going forwards, that kind of thing. This is a video where I have had some time to think about it. I mean, I took a holiday in the Lake District to basically reset my physical and mental health, which, believe me, I needed. But, you know, it gave me also some time to reflect on some of those questions and some of those suggestions you made, and I've effectively come up with the idea of just doing this little video very quickly to go over my responses to them and what the final decisions are kind of being. So, first off, a very quick one. I was contemplating about cutting the intros to some of the videos I do. I like to do some like throwaway gag. I'm not trying to be shut up and sit down. I mean, I'm not a fan of their style of humour anyway. You know, I'm more kind of a nostalgia critic, Angry Joe type of humour. But, you know, I did like some sort of, it wasn't necessarily meant to be the funniest gag in the world. It was meant to be something that just simulated something about the review I was doing or about the top 10 I was doing. But I also said that they take a lot of time. You know, it takes a while to think of a decent gag or reference, and then, you know, more time to edit it. It requires like tomfoolery trickery, which I don't have the decent software for yet, although more on that later. And so I was contemplating cutting them because it might save me a lot of time editing, which I could put toward doing more video content. Well, there was a mixture of responses I got from that. You know, some weren't too fast, some were like, oh, keep them coming on, I like them and stuff. So I'm kind of going to meet somewhere in the middle. Intros I will keep purely for reviews, and I'm going to try and make them a little bit less complicated than they have been in the past, but I will keep those intros for reviews only. Just review videos. I will not be doing them for top 10s, nor will I be doing them for any other sort of future segment content either. Just reviews. That's kind of a compromise meeting in the middle. I can come up with some reference that will relate to the game I'm reviewing, but it's really hard to do it for top 10s, and for stuff that I want to do in the future, it's going to be even harder. So intros, just for reviews, and that's still temporarily for the time being anyway. If it gets to a point where it's still too much hassle to do, then I will cut intros entirely. So we're going to meet in the middle, a little transition period of just cutting them for most of my content, but not for the reviews, and we'll see how it goes forward, okay? The second one, the big major one, probably, yeah, the most major one here, solo playthroughs. I don't think there was a single response that said, no, don't do solo playthroughs. Everybody was hyped up about this, you know, saying, yes, go on, do it, I really want to see it. So, yeah, I can hardly say no to that, can I? Yeah, solo walkthrough videos will be a thing. Now, the format, as I mentioned before, is not like, you know, reviewing a video by doing a game, like for example, what have I got? I've got to review this one soon, Yellow and Yanked. I'm not doing a solo playthrough of a game that's multiplayer, if that makes sense. What I was going to do was that I was going to take a solo mode, or variant, from a game, and play through that. Now, the format in which games I choose are going to have to be down to me, because I can't take a solo mode that takes like 2 hours to play and do a 2-hour long video, because it will never work. But then again, a lot of solo modes might take a bit longer to do because I've obviously got to hold the camera as well, I've got to set up that camera as fixed, and there's going to be a lot of experimentation for the first few videos, so you'll have to give it a bit of a breathing period to say, oh yeah, this could be improved, or maybe you should try this, you know, so by all means, when I get round to starting that series, you can give me all your feedback and suggestions and we'll work into it and try and improve it. Because I want to do some solo mode playthroughs, but you obviously want them as well, so let's work together on this. But it'll take me a while to experiment with this and get it up and running, so don't expect it like next week, you know, but it's certainly going to be on the cards. So, for example, I could do a solo mode, let's see, just looking behind me, I could do an edited solo gallerist review, you know, not every single turn, but, you know, part of it. I could do Flamme Rouge, I could do Otis with the one that's official on the internet. What are the solo modes? App ones are a bit more tricky, so I don't know if First Martians and similar things like Manchester Madness would work. Coffee Roaster, I'd definitely do that one. Let's see. Energy Empire, maybe. There's got to be some easier solo games around here somewhere. Well, Pursuit of Happiness, that could work. Dream Home could work. Valley of the Kings could work. Dice City, maybe. You know, it's basically going along that road. So I don't want them to be too long though, so I might have to try edited ones where like I do a few turns and then it fades into a bit further into the game and then fades again depending on how long it is. You know, games that are really short I can just do in one go, but like I say, you guys don't want to watch a 2.5-hour video, do you? Surely, of a single solo playthrough. So, you know, we'll have to work on that. But they're going to come. I will certainly try and do those. A small one now. Let's see. Yes. The rating system is going to change, and I'm going to evolve it into something in the future where I would love to have a kind of like one of those anagram things, like you know, Z uses target audience, which is really cool on his videos, Z Garcia. And I'd like to have something similar to that on my review videos, but I just can't think of a decent anagram right now because all the good ones are taken. I mean, target is fantastic. That is such a good anagram that he uses. But what else do I use? So that might come into the future, but what I'm definitely going to do as of now, in fact you would have probably noticed it on my Carson City review that I've done this, there is no more number rating for a game. At least no official one for me. Because originally I started doing a, you know, putting a, oh, I give this 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, like a proper critical number. Then I thought, well, just because it's 9 out of 10 for me doesn't mean it's 9 out of 10 for other people. So I decided to call it my personal BGG rating, which is, this is what I personally rate it as, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the same for you, because after all, it's only my opinion. Yours can be completely different. But even that's getting a little bit arbitrary at the moment. And there's not a huge amount of games that I'm reviewing where I'm doing 1s and 2s, you know, so it's kind of, it almost sort of defeats the point having this arbitrary number. So what I'm going to do for the moment, until I can think of something better, is remove the number and keep the emoji type reaction. So rather than saying I think of this as a 7, I think this is a 9, you'll just see that emoji face pop up. And that will just give you an indication of my general feelings on the game. So if you see like a, you know, normal happy face, and it's like, cool, it makes me happy when I play it. You know, you see big smile on one, then you know that's a bit better. You got the one with 2 thumbs up, you know, that means I just think it's awesome. And then you'll have like the meh, sad, bleh, you know, vomiting one, you know, stuff like that. So rather than attributing a number, just use the emoji rating. And if you're really like going to miss the numbers, then just think of it like this way. The 2 thumbs up is going to be something like a 9 or a 10. The, you know, teeth smiling one's going to be like 8, 9. The happy face will probably be like 7, 8. The meh will probably be 6, 7. You know, the sad will be sort of 5, 4. You know, and, you know, vomiting will be anything lower than that really. So, you know, you can put an arbitrary number like that, but I just think having a number is just kind of pointless really. You want to know my feelings and thoughts on the game, not just simply what number I shove in front of it. And plus, you know, if you're one of those sort of people that tends to skip ahead to the end before they watch the whole video, then all you need to do is look for the emoji rating. So, yeah, that's an decent one for that. So that's a pretty small one. So next one, software. The Patreon campaign received a little bit of an influx of people since the last FAQ, although, like I said, it's got a long way to go before I can start doing a lot of cool stuff this channel. But, you know, I'm grateful for the influxes I've had. However, I've now updated the Patreon page with a lot of other cool stuff. So there's more tiers now that you can subscribe at. There's more goals. You know, the goals are much more clear-cut because originally it was hard enough just trying to get to the first goal, which was going to pay all the software and handling fees. But now I've added loads of goals, even up to pipe dream level goals. And initial goals will be things like, you know, I want to try other content for this channel. I want to upgrade equipment, upgrade software, you know, do a website rather than use Blogger. And then it gets to like pipe dream levels where it's like, I want to do this part-time or I want to do this full-time, you know. And that requires a lot of Patreon income in order to do this full-time, believe me. So, but at least it's there. It's an ambition. It's a pipe dream, as I think. You know, you never know. Maybe there's a millionaire out there who's got money to burn or something. But with that, I've also, what was it? Yes, I've reached the first goal and I'm almost up to the second goal. Now, the first goal was going to not only pay for, you know, my podcast hosting fees and my website hosting fees and stuff like that, it was also going to allow me to upgrade my software because Camtasia is, it's okay, but it's very limited. It's more for screen captures and tutorial sessions. I mean, you've seen the things scrolling across the bottom and the stuff that I do. It's there, but don't you think it looks a little bit dated now, you know, amateurish? It'd be nice to have some software with few more bells and whistles. And the first goal allows me to upgrade my software to Adobe Premiere Pro. So at some point in the very near future, I will be acquiring the license to Adobe Premiere Pro and trying to learn my way through that. It'll be a while before I produce any videos via that software, so I'll keep Camtasia to put out some content, but it's a learning curve, and it's a steep learning curve when it comes to Adobe. So at least I'll have the software, I'll start learning it, experiment with 1 or 2 videos, and try and find a way for that software to give me more professional looking stuff than just Camtasia. We're almost up to the second goal though. I think it was like $50 a month for this hosting and that, and we have breached it. Big kudos to an elite Patreon, Draft House Games, for putting me up to that. But the next level, $75 a month, allows me to upgrade that to Adobe Creative Suite. So rather than just getting the single license for Adobe Premiere Pro, I could get the entire Creative Suite if we meet the $75 Patreon goal. And having the whole suite not only gives me Adobe Premiere Pro, but it gives me Lightroom, which is something for like photographs and editing there. It gives me Audition, which could be a replacement for Audacity for sound and audio recording. It gives me After Effects to do cooler stuff on the videos. It gives me Photoshop for thumbnails and stuff like that. And to believe me, I've tried using Photoshop in the past. It is complicated as all get out. I cannot fathom Photoshop. But, at least I'd have all the software and all this stuff there. And there's more programs than that in the Creative Suite besides. There's a huge smorgasbord of stuff that would work together. And I could use that to improve the quality of these videos. Now, the Patreon goal for getting some official training courses in that software so that I can really hone them down for experience is a bit higher on the Patreon goal list. But you never know, might happen one day, and certainly if it does, the first thing I'll be doing is using the funds that it's raised to say, right, I need a comprehensive course in how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, all its features and everything, like comprehensive, accreditation or something, and that would be pretty sweet. But certainly for the time being, I'll be getting Adobe Premiere Pro, and we'll see how that goes in the sort of medium term. And let's see. And the final one I just wanted to go over was the podcast. I was debating, do I really need the podcast going? Because I wasn't really sure if anyone was listening to it. Well, the feedback's come back showing that there are people listening to it. But the hard bit is that it's hard for me to gauge how many people are listening to it. Analytics for things on SoundCloud and stuff like that for podcasts are really hard to gauge whether it's good or bad. And it doesn't really track traffic from other sites very well. So I look at it and I go, oh, that's not very many views, but then it might actually be a lot more than that. So what I'm doing is that I will keep the podcast going, because clearly there's a lot of people who like it and listen to it, so thank you to you all. But what I will do is, by request from a few people, which I was contemplating doing anyway, but you kind of certified it, is the podcast will now be linked to my YouTube channel as well. So you will have already noticed one episode went up recently, the last one I did, and basically all this is just the audio for the channel will be posted as a YouTube video. It will just have the picture, nothing else, and it will just be the podcast audio. The reason for that is that not everybody listens to podcasts via things like, what's it called, Podcast Addict, and a few of the others, like the RSS feed things. Some people get all their media from Facebook and YouTube. Well, then I might as well not block them out of the podcast by simply only having it on SoundCloud. So as well as being via RSS feeds, it will also be posted as a YouTube audio-only video, and there you go. If you want to listen to the podcast via YouTube, then you can. And some people have, and they've certainly given me feedback on appreciating the fact that I post it there. So that's what's going to happen with that. In terms of content for the podcast, I will try to get more episodes out. It's hard to find the time, but I will try to get it to, it's going to be once a month regardless. That's always a minimum. But I'll try to get to a month. Maybe they'll just have to be shorter episodes. We'll have to see. But certainly that's on the cards. And I think that's pretty much it from the list I've got. So if there's anything else you need me to explain or sort of go over, then just let me know and I'll put it in the comments. But thank you for everybody who has watched the channel, listened to the podcast, subscribed to Patreon, whatever. Cheers for all the feedback that you gave me from the FAQ. Very useful, gave me a lot to think about. And now this gives me something to sort of aspire to going forwards. Hopefully not hitting another burnout thing. So I can only do so many trips up to the Lake District to avoid burnout, okay? So We'll have to play it by ear, but with a bit of your help, this will become a, you know, a thing of beauty, this channel. I mean, like I say, the ultimate pipe dream. Imagine if I could do this full time and still afford to, you know, live, you know, do this full time on a blog. Whew. The ultimate dream. Sorry, dry throat. So I'm going to wrap this up now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. And remember, as always, it's only a game. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.